Imagine an unwelcome guest invading your space and then taking up all the room. But this is no ordinary guest. They are wreaking havoc in your space you once considered sacred and clean. Not to mention, they are disabling your compartments, destroying your food, and now they have cozied up deep in your favorite blanket. Now you're responding in a stressful manner. You feel fatigued, you can't sleep at night, you're breaking out in rashes, you feel dehydrated, and for some reason, your butt is itching. This, my friends, is parasites. They have violated over billions of people across the world, and many of those who don't even realize it. Parasites typically enter the body through contaminated food, like undercooked meat and fish, and even raw vegetables, or even direct contact with infected individuals. Yes, it can happen through regular schmegula sex. And you probably wouldn't even know that you have parasites until they make themselves way too comfortable and then cause issues like this. Many people believe that heat or even stomach acid will kill these parasites, but that's not always the truth. Food would have to be heated to a certain temperature to kill the parasite, and not everyone has adequate stomach acid to get rid of them. Even anti-parasitic drugs are not always the best choice because they can cause severe side effects such as abnormal heart rate, vision changes, hallucinations, and psychosis. And depending on how bad the infection is, you would have to take longer or even multiple courses of the drugs for it to work. And these wonky drugs come with unpleasant side effects that may even put you in more trouble. And depending on a specific drug, you can be at risk of so many severe conditions like this. But when it comes to getting rid of parasites, it's important to look at the full picture and not just rely on a single drug, hoping to solve all of our problems. We should actually be considering the holistic approach, because while parasites will cause physical damage to the body, it can also cause a mental and spiritual toll on the body as well. And the drugs will not take care of that. Looking into any disease and recognizing the interconnectedness of the mind, body, and spirit will give you better outcomes toward actually treating the root cause and getting long-term relief. And when considering this, we have to consider the whole picture, because you can choose a management option, whether herbs or simple lifestyle adjustments that relate better to your own personal system. And when we choose those methods that are more in tune with our true nature, we open the door for healing that specific condition, plus many other conditions as well that are triggered by similar instances. And then this places the control back in our own hands. So whether parasites have set up camp in your body, or you have never ever had parasites, so you think, the holistic approaches that we're going to talk about today will focus on in-tune management and prevention to ensure that you never get it again. But before we dive in, make sure to check out the protocol if you're not interested in watching this full video. But first things first, mindset and spiritual connection. In Western medicine, you're rarely going to see a connection between mental and spiritual contributions or even the management of a disease, and this is where we fall short. In nursing and medical school, most students are giving a brief look into mental and spiritual health, excluding mental health focused professionals, but truthfully, it's still not enough. Our bodies face ailments daily, but it doesn't always give way to them based on our internal strength, which is our lymphatic and our circulatory system, collectively known as the immune system. Our mental health and mindset play a huge role in this as well. And if you're constantly crying and feeling angry until it causes a physical symptom like maybe a headache or a shaking or even a low mood, you're probably creating low-grade inflammation in the body. And with this low-grade inflammation also comes a weakened immunity as your body tries to pull all of its forces to fight the inflammation. And we likely come in contact with parasites more often than we think, but with the body already trying to fight something, it becomes more difficult to fight yet another thing. Think of it as this, like you're walking down the street and you're minding your business, and all of a sudden someone comes out and they jump on you out of nowhere. But no worries, you standing on business, you getting busy with them, the paws are legit, and then their friend comes out of nowhere and starts wailing on you. You are putting it on the first person, but by the time that second person gets to you, you're tired and you don't have that same force or energy to fight. So they both start putting the beats on you, and this time they may have the upper hand. Then once they both do their thing on you, they left you sprawled out on the sidewalk, all tore up and unable to get up. That's kind of how it would be if you were exposed to parasites while dealing with mental and emotional imbalances. Your body won't have enough energy or resources to fight back, so at that point, it will take advantage of you and leave you there to rot. For instance, when we are faced with a spiritual imbalance or even a negative force, creating conflict or emptiness inside of us, this drains our spirit. And don't get me wrong, our spirit is very pure. It is in a high place and it is constant. But when our mind and our body are still hanging out down here, it works as a pulling force or a weight that keeps our spirit from being more upfront. This drains our being from the inside out. And once we are largely drained from the inside, our foundation then starts to crumble. And then eventually we are stripped of our natural shields and defenses. This then would allow other things to kind of come into our space and then continue to destroy our existence. It's like a door that has been kind of broken off the hinges and now it's just an open space. And that's where the physical and the spiritual parasites can come in and finish off the job, continuing to drain the resources and eventually sucking all the life out of us. And this, family, is why it is important to have interconnectedness with the mind, body, and spirit, because when one train cart derails, the whole train gets off track. And we should think of things from the perspective that all of these things are a part of a whole. If there's a single missing piece, there can't be any completion. And if you want to be complete or fulfilled, you should be focusing on nourishing the mind, body, and the spirit. And here's how we can do that. So for the body, try to be more careful about what you're consuming. All food should be taken with the intention of healing disease or even preventing disease. And when you think of it like that, it will automatically exclude items that drain your energy source and potentially add to disruption, like fatty foods, high sugar foods, alcohol, overly salty foods, pesticide-ridden foods, genetically modified foods, and things of that nature. And for the mind, it should be fed with physical food that provides your nerve system with the nutrients it needs to stay biochemically balanced. And also with the mental foods such as intentful exercise, pleasurable reading, nature walks, nature appreciation, positive social connections, and sensory balancing activities to keep your nerves and emotions stable. And once you have taken care of your mind and your body properly, you will likely have reduced any excess weight or burdens that may have hindered your spirit and kind of prevented it from being exposed. And at that point, you can then build upon that progress you've already made by engaging in prayer, meditating, seeking God, and reading spiritual texts so you can gain further understanding and guidance on your healing journey. Now that we have a better understanding of the mental and the spiritual connection, it would be perfect to switch to a lifestyle medicine lens. So I'm a nurse practitioner who is board certified in lifestyle medicine. And with lifestyle medicine, there are 6 pillars that we rely on to heal and prevent disease. And that is whole food, plant-based eating, physical activity, restorative sleep, stress management, avoidance of risky substances, and positive social connections. And with this specific condition of parasitic infections, all 6 of those pillars have to be considered to heal. And if you're not convinced by now, I will explain why you should care. With the whole food, plant-based eating pattern, you can introduce the required nutrients needed to restore the damage that the parasites may have done. A meat diet would not allow that without adding more issues. Physical activity will help to increase the blood flow through the cells, tissues, and organs, which will help to kick out those parasites in a safe manner that doesn't encourage further damage. Staying sedentary, on the other hand, will keep those parasites sedentary in your body. Restorative sleep will give your body that scheduled downtime that it needs so that your body can actually, heal properly, because there are certain times of the night that our body actually works harder to repair damaged tissues. So it's best to rest so we can avoid impeding this process, and staying up late or overnight will disturb this process and you won't heal as fast or as good. Stress management is a big one because it will help us avoid adding more inflammation to our system, and it would also keep us with a mindset of healing that won't impede our progress. So if you're still stressing, you are actually adding fuel to the already large flame. Avoiding risky substances is really important too, because that's going to reduce exposure to other microbes or toxins that typically delay our healing process. And intaking more of them through junk food will give us more problems. And another one that people often overlook is positive social connections. This helps to encourage healing of our mind, body, and spirit, because while we're trying to eliminate physical parasites, you also want to avoid the parasitic people who will drain you and not add any healing value to your life. So to apply those 6 pillars to your own regimen, make sure to do these simple things. Eat more whole food items or foods with simple ingredients that are not in a box or a can. And that can include increasing intake of garlic, ginger, onions, raw pumpkin seeds, and papaya seeds because they have anti-parasitic properties. Exercise several times a week. Make sure you sleep at night. Engage in stress-relieving activities like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, or walking, or even listening to calm music. Spending time in nature is a good one, and practicing deep breathing exercises. And avoid toxins like processed foods, artificial sweeteners, pesticides, chemicals, cleaning products, heavy metals, and environmental pollutants. And also take a break from social media and interact with people who actually like you in real life. It's best to surround yourself with people who don't constantly try to bring you down or engage in gossip. Avoid those also who constantly project negativity or act very sad and victimized all the time. And if you can successfully focus on 2 of those pillars each week, you are doing your thing. So good job. And after you have mastered or at least attempted to focus on those things that we just talked about, the mindset, the spiritual, and the lifestyle adjustments, then should you consider the herbs to help piece things together. And a reminder, herbs will only help you heal intently once you intentionally focus on the underlying factors first. Herbs are a supplement to healing, but they are not a cure. The cure is within. It is spirit-led, And that's why you have to get your mind, body, and spirit on the same page so that you can heal. But before I get into it further, I just want to say I love herbal medicine. I love how it is so naturally in tune and carefully created for our system. It's like one day God was like, I'm going to put the healing in the plants, and it's up to you to gain the knowledge and the understanding of them. But don't go turning them into lethal weapons for profit by adding them into a capsule and then filling them in with your man-made chemicals, because once you adulterate it, it turns into a poison for which they will put in a pill bottle and sell it to you for profit from behind a pharmacy counter. Not me speaking for God. But no, really, that was just my darkly realistic interpretation. But some plants are created to work in unison with our bodies for conditions like parasitic infections and infestations. And they just happen to have the perfect properties to help you naturally heal, to get rid of that draining inhabitant. So for us to come from earth, it's only right to use the growths of the earth to help us restore balance. And amongst the herbs that we have discovered and tested, my favorite ones are black walnut, wormwood, Asian berberine, oregano oil, grapefruit extract, golden seed or Oregon grapefruit, and ginger. And if you want to know the specific instructions and dosing for those herbs that have been historically used as herbal remedies to eliminate parasites, you can check out the blog in the link below. So it's only right that I talk about functional medicine and labs as well if I'm going to talk about something like this. But if you really want to know if you have parasites, the only true way to confirm is to get parasitic testing through stool analysis and blood work. And sometimes you can purchase home kits for this from Amazon. But if your provider is feeling generous, he or she may decide to order the test for you. But don't hold your breath. It's pretty tough to get providers to actually order those things sometimes, especially if they personally or scientifically don't see the need or the purpose. But my thing is, if you want to know, you want to know. I mean, it's your body. And if you think something is going on with you, it's your personal right to feel entitled to understand it more. So for me, I'm gonna order that test. But we just have to make sure that you can at least afford it first. But even if you don't consider getting that specific parasitic testing, you can also have a functional medicine provider like myself, look deeper into your regular blood work, because sometimes we can find the answers right there. And some regular labs that point to parasitic infections include elevated monocytes, elevated eosinophils, abnormal fibrinogen or CRP, and white blood cell shifts. But honestly, my thing is, why wait for a diagnosis to treat and support parasitic eradication? Just do the quarterly cleanses regardless, because especially if you know you are eating questionable things and you aren't always cognizant of your intake, just listen to your body. And if you're having symptoms like diarrhea, constipation, gas, eczema, unexplained itching, fatigue, teeth grinding at night, anemia that won't go away, anxiety, or even muscle and joint pain, just do the dang cleanse and take care of it. Because if you have those symptoms, it's likely because there is something going on in your body that needs a little bit more support. But if you're looking for a full spectrum protocol that targets detoxifying from parasites, consider checking out my carefully created and tested Parasite Detox. It is a naturopathic solution to parasites that includes a full spectrum of herbs, nutrition, and supplements to help you get rid of those things quickly. So let's wrap this up. If you haven't captured anything else from this video, remember this. Parasites are a mental and spiritual manifestation, just as it is a physical one. You have to intently nourish the mind and the spirit to eliminate and prevent parasites. Everyone should be doing a quarterly parasite cleanse, whether you are an avid meat eater or a raw vegan. And you can heal at home with herbs, nutrient, mindset, and intention. You just have to pay attention and listen to your systems. But anyways, I hope that this was a valuable video to you and all this information will be useful. My goal is to share healing information as I help others and myself discover spirit-led healing. So I hope that you will stick around and visit us next time for more healing insight on the next condition. But even if this isn't your cup of tea, I want you to know that you have been placed on a plain path by a higher entity, but you are the one that actually controls where your feet move. So you, with your mind, body, and spirit, must be in one accord to remain on that pre-corrected path and avoid things like disease. So may your feet be spirit-led, and may you discover the balance of mind, body, and spirit connectedness. Be gentle.